Hey everyone, in this video we are going to talk about points, lines, their slopes, and their equations. Particularly, we are talking about point-slope form and using a given line to come up with the equation of that line in the point-slope form. So let's just briefly remember what point-slope form would look like. It will look like y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. In this form, we have the slope, which is m, which is rise over run. And then we have any point on the line, and that point will be labeled with x1, y1. Those ones represents like the first point on the line. It's kind of ridiculous, but yeah, x1 and y1 are the coordinates of any point on the line, such as this red point over here. That would work, for example. We can use that point and then label it as x1, y1. That would definitely work. Or we could pick another point on the line. Now let's get started. The first thing that I need is a second point so I can find what the slope equals. But before that, let's just label this x1 and y1 just to be on the safe side. The coordinates of this red point is over 10 units to the left, it's negative 10, and then up 70. So the first one is the x1, the second one is y1. So x1 is negative 10, y1 is 70. Just so I don't forget about those. And then I need another point to find what the slope equals, such as this point. As long as you can figure out the coordinates, you can use that point. It doesn't matter which point you pick. Or this one is even closer, so I'm gonna change that point, and I'm gonna use this right here because it's closer. I don't need to count that many grids over here. Okay, so for the slope, what I need to do, start from one of the points, doesn't matter. Let's just start from the red one. And then count the rise and run. Right and up means positive, left and down means negative. Now, let's get started. From red to green, I need to go up one grid, but each grid equals to 10 units. So if I'm going up one, it's like going up 10. Since it is up, it is positive 10. And then I need to go right after going up one over here, I need to go 1, 2, 3 units to the right, but that's 3 grids, it's not 3 units. 3 grids is the same as 30 units over here. And remember, up and right means positive. So, and if you can simplify, just simplify your slope. 10 over 30 can be simplified to 1 over 3. Now, I have my slope, I have my x1 and y1. All I have to do from this point on is plugging them into the formula. So, over here, y1 is 70. M is 1/3, and then x1 is negative 10. There are these parentheses over here. Okay, now let's bring down whatever we have. Y is variable, that negative is the sign that comes out of the formula, I bring it down. And then x is the variable, I bring it down. And then there's that negative, other than my numbers, negative. That I need to bring down. So if you have a whole blank box that you need to type the full equation, you don't want to do this because there's like 2 negatives next to each other. Who does that? So in the this first question, I didn't check that out yet, but probably they are going to give you some part of this formula, such as the y's and negatives, the variables and negatives, and then you just need to plug in these 3 numbers, 1/3, negative 10, and 70. That's what I'm guessing. I will scroll down and see what it is. But if you have a totally blank box like this, then you don't want to put this one in your answer. You want to put y minus 70. There's nothing you can simplify with that one. 1/3, and x minus negative doesn't mean anything, so it's like x plus 10. This would be your final answer if there's a whole blank box. This is important. So make sure you remember this when you do your own work. But let's say your question is like this. Y minus a box equals another box times x minus this box. Now in this case, you are gonna type y1 in here in the first box. The y1 is 70. M, we figured it out, that's 1/3. And then x1 is -10. So that's the difference between having part of the question given and having nothing given. So please pay attention to it. So I will scroll down to show you what I mean and hope that the question is the same kind that I'm talking about. Okay, so in here, you're just gonna put your y1 value, whatever it is, your m value, whatever it was, and then your x1 value. It is okay if you have two negatives sitting next to each other in this type of question. If it's a whole box, empty, nothing in there, you just need to simplify your answer and then type your final answer in. Okay, let's move on to the next level to show you what I'm talking about, because probably the next level is going to be a whole blank box. And if you ask me how I know this, it's because of my son. He was keep crying in the background, so this is my third time recording this video, so I kind of know what type of questions we are gonna see. Okay, so right here, this is what I'm talking about. It's a whole empty box. You need to simplify your answer and then type it in. Okay, let's get started. I need y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. The y1 and x1, we can use any point on the line, but let's just use this one here since the coordinates are already there. Over 200 and up 500. The first one is the x, the second one is the y. So let me just plug them in right away in this question. So x is, so there's y over here, so let's start with that one. 500, and then x1 is 200. Now, I can bring the negatives down, like this one here, and that one here. And also I can bring the y and x down. These are always, you can do these ones because they are part of the formula. They're not the things that you need to figure out. My bad, that's not supposed to say y, that's supposed to say x. Okay. And then all I have to do is figure out the slope. Pick another point on the line, like, let me see. This right here. And then find your slope. From blue to green, I am rising up. If it is up, you have a positive number, so count the grids. There are 3 grids over here. This is 3. And then there are 5 over here. In total, I have 8 grids. And each grid is 100. So it's like going up 800. So the slope is going up 800. And then right means positive, by the way. It's just 1 grid. So I'm going right 100. Divide these two numbers. If you can, just simplify the slope, just to be on the safe side. So my slope is 8. All I have to do is just put it up here. That's it. This is my final answer. So once again, if you're going to type the whole equation, make sure you do not have two negatives sitting next to each other. If you do, you need to simplify, because probably, I didn't test it out, but probably when you type two negatives next to each other, IXL is going to say your answer is wrong. So it's not that big of a deal. Just do not put two negatives next to each other. But if part of the question was given, make sure you plug in only the numbers, because x comes from the formula, y comes from the formula, and then these two negatives, they are part of the formula. So you plug in only the things that you figured out. For the first part of the assignment, for the second, simplify your answers as much as you can. Okay, thank you for watching. Give me a thumbs up if you liked the video, or if you think the video helped you out for this week's assignment, for today's assignment. Remember to subscribe to the channel so you can get notifications whenever I share another video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in another video, guys.